Hello, YouTube. Welcome to part 31 of what is sure to be a fantastic, maybe conclusion to Frozen Wilds of Horizon Zero Dawn. This has been super cool. I'm very excited to see what is ahead in this crazy-ass cauldron. Maybe we'll put all this together a little bit. Thanks for making it this far in the playthrough. I mean, you already know this, but I'm very grateful for all of your support. And the fact that you've made it this far is a testament to how cool you are, even more than it is a testament to how cool I am. We're both cool. It's awesome. Make sure that you follow the links in the description. Leave a thumbs up. Leave a comment at some point if you'd like. And yeah, enjoy. Also, as I do every once in a while, quick shout out to those of you that financially support the stream in any way, whether it's by purchasing merchandise or becoming a fourth wall member or a YouTube member or anything like that. Thank you very much for your financial support of the streams. It really does help me ensure that all of this comes out nice and smooth and as frequently as it does. So thank you. Let's rock.
Metal pillars, tall as Benure's cliffs. I still don't like it.
Yeah, buddy, this is really gonna be something.
Once these halls rang with the spirit's presence.
Here, up and over.
I just want to know what it all is. See, what I love about this is that, like, we don't know what all of this is. We get to experience all of the wonder of this alongside Aloy. Return to Firebreak.
November 21st, 2064. It's been 3 years since I was last here, and 12 since I was running the place. Just a skeleton crew left, confused about why I'm here. So am I. Anita wants me to find a way to suspend operations for a while. Maybe a long while. And I don't know why. But from the sound of her voice, it was something terrifying. I wish I could look into her eyes, ask her what the hell she's so freaked out about, but what else is new? And don't I wish I could look into her eyes again?
Aloy? Were you listening for something?
There are memories here. Messages left by the old ones.
And you can hear them. I envy you. What did they say?
I'm not sure yet, Araya.
Decent way to deflect that. Do I think that Aloy should prepare Araya and Aratek for what they're about to see?
I'm restless.
I think she could give a little bit of an overview and say I've been in these types of situations before and here's what to expect, but she would need to be careful not to overly bias them into what they think that they might see, because the reality is we don't necessarily know what's in here, and I don't want to prepare them for something that doesn't end up coming through. It'd probably just be one of those like, hey, trust my lead and do as I say, really without question. Kenny's homecoming. Joshua. The return of the director emeritus. Decent hollow title. Gina. No, bad title and worse subject. The camera crew would die of boredom. Whatever, Gina. It's still the most excitement this hell cave's seen in a long time. Your standards for exciting are depressingly low. I'll squeeze what I can out of this, thanks. You always were a little sweet on Kenny. What? No way. His ears are enormous. Besides, he was too busy mooning over Anita. I want to know what he's doing here in the first place. It's not normal. He helped engineer the most advanced geothermal facility in history, then rode off into the sunset. Now he wants to check up on his masterwork. Seems normal to me. But why now? He keeps poking around in the cooling facility and asking questions about Cyan. You think there's something wrong? Last I checked, there's been no deviation in any of our readings since the most recent microquake swarm. Maybe Kenny likes taking field trips on Pharaoh's dime. It's been 14 years. They would have frozen those accounts by now. Has it been that long? Man, I'm old. Not old, just boring. He helped engineer the most advanced geothermal facility in history. I'm guessing we are in that geothermal facility. I mean, it looks like these are some kind of power coil, so I suppose it would make sense. All right, I hope you guys like climbing, because we're going to be doing a lot of it. Oh, wow, we got a fellow back in here? The hell? Dumbass watching.
We must climb higher, and our path will become clear.
Well, and Arrea's been in here before, so this isn't like we're discovering this brand new.
If the chieftain's pace is measured, ours is measured.
Oh, I'm measured, buddy. Aegon, thank you for the 4-month sub. I appreciate it. Oh, this door magically opened now. I kind of wish that Aloy's focus was more like Samus's visor.
When you're done,
And it's just like what's you could just scan everything in here. That kiss. Must have been sometime in the spring of 2047, about 6 months after the main facility opened. We were behind schedule and new data indicated that an incident was close, maybe only weeks away. I was exhausted, losing weight, barely speaking, except to give orders. I passed by Anita on in the battery depot. She looked at me and frowned and then pulled me into this room and kissed me. A long kiss, the best kind. I can still remember the feel of her hand on the back of my neck. After, she looked at me and smiled. I went back to work without saying a word. I'll never forget that moment. Her touch, her unspoken generosity. After she left the project, I spent years beating myself up for not keeping her somehow. Every time I ran into her at a conference, I felt thrilled, lost, and confused all at the same time, always hoping we might have a few drinks and, well, rekindle. It was only after I saw her on stage in a hollow in 58 accepting the Mind Challenge Award in Austin, with Elizabeth Sobek presenting no less, glowing and happy and fulfilled, that it dawned on me that I hadn't done anything wrong at all. I could finally see she had what she wanted, and it simply wasn't me. Damn. Oh man, I want to know so much about what happened with them. I want all the details, dude. Oh. Oh. I get drip fed. I have to deal with the grief of knowing I won't ever get to know all of it. Ah. Oh man. Couples therapist catnip? You're not kidding. Oh, God. I want to know if they ever communicated about that. Did they ever make their desires known?
There's an overlook above. It's not far. Yes, this way.
Oh, chill,
Not much
Aratak.
farther now.
Your girl's gotta observe this entire place. Like, see, this is gonna be the... I've probably said this a couple times in this playthrough, but I like to do this every once in a while in these games. Look how much of this stuff is fully realized. Like, this environment is so amazing, and the amount of gamers that just run past this shit and don't appreciate it. Like, people put love into this. The ceiling, the little details up there that you never come directly in contact with. It all just... It just makes this environment so lived in and real.
Aloy, we should proceed. The path is long.
And I like to sit and admire it sometimes, because people worked hard on that. Alright, through we go. Oh ho, baby. Getting hot in here.
Last we were here, we fought our way through there. But machines overcame us. We retreated, dropping supplies and taking losses.
Oof.
Now we must prevail, with only 2 warriors and a shaman to protect.
Aloy is no ordinary warrior. And I can hold my own. Even so, we could go that way instead. There are machines up there, but also cover. We could stay hidden, at least for a while.
All right, I get the options. Now follow my lead.
Do I get all the lore regardless of which direction we go? Because that's important to me.
Towers. Steam. Frost. Who was on this floor? That hurt it.
This wasn't even hard, guys. You guys couldn't... You call yourself Banuk? I'm more Banuk than your ass.
Forward or up and around. Choose or follow.
I want to go up. I want lore. I'm so afraid I'm going to miss out on lore.
I went this way years ago, looking for cover in case machines came prowling. I have no doubt that it's guarded now, but maybe it will stay hidden.
Donald, let's go see me first. Beware.
I can get out of this.
Your song ends here.
Geez, there are more machines this way, Araya.
Got their attention.
Yeah, why would I trust Araya on any of this shit? That way it'll be safer. So many more machines.
Shh. Nice and quiet.
Nice and quiet, yes. That's a me. Nice and quiet all the time. I just want to see the whole facility, too. Make sure we clear this out, maybe, for future Banukin. Look at that. Lore. Incident report 363-7. Incident report, information report, firebreak project, type, property damage and personal injury, date of incident November 4th, 2063, time of incident 4:11, reporter Jorgen Holm. As official incident reporter for the firebreak project, it is with great concern that I report of an incident at our facility. Incident began from a swarm of 35 seismic events beginning on 3rd and 4th November, approximately 9.6 kilometers, 6 miles north-northwest of Mammoth, Wyoming. Included were 4 in the magnitude 2 range, with the largest magnitude 2.4 at 4:09 the 4th of November. Holographic modeling shows most quakes originating at the Hebgen Lake Fault Zone. As the project's senior geoscientist, I advise this number in magnitude in seismic events is a normal outcome from fluid movement through the Caldera's silicic magma reservoir, as well as changes of pressure coming in interactions between magma and supercooled fluid. However, one can be never too careful in such an unstable environment, shown further in this report. The incident began when I was wakened from a loud crash in the canteen. Fortunately, I did not have to ruse the official canteen monitor, since I am that self-same person. Even while acting in my formal office, I was alarmed and feared the worst. Inspection of the zone showed the tragic loss of 15 milliliter bottle of nail lacquer in deep crimson shattered on the canteen floor. Lacquer also splashed on the surroundings at an area of approximately 1E6M2. One chair was tipped over on its side, but happily I had the mechanical knowledge to right it without further incident. The bottle of nail lacquer is irreparable. Moreover, the canteen monitor suffered a cut to the left hand when picking up broken glass. This was treated by the site first aider, me, with supervision of the fire marshal, also me, but could still get infected. Gina Bruno is identified as the owner of the bottle of nail lacquer. In my capacity as staff psychological observer, I conclude that she has accepted the loss of her personal item in a good fashion, but further evaluation may be necessary. We will keep the remote site supervisor informed of developments in such a case. Please find following this report my salary increase request for the coming calendar year. Drop some nail polish on the floor and it broke. I need a salary increase. Oh, that's good. Love it.
Be wary of mines.
I think there's frost between my teeth.
I mean, hey, maybe people got bored. Yeah, or old Dodd just, you know, was micromanagey. All right, I want to go, man. I really don't want to miss anything, so.
Thought I endured every cold there is. This frost.
Although I may not actually be able to go up there again. Oh, yeah, looks like we're doomed to go this way regardless. All right.
Let's not linger any longer than we have to.
Well, at least we got to read that incident report.
It's close. As if there's chill water running through those massive pipes. But why?
There's a door up ahead in refuge. We're almost through.
Excessive secrecy.
Technically, I can't suspend the cooling system, but I can reduce the power draw so that it'll be completely masked by the Caldera. But masked from what? Firebreak has always been confidential for security reasons, but this would be excessive. Even for the dear departed Mr. Blevins. What could possibly have gotten Anita so worked up?
I too would like to know what got Anita worked up. I'm assuming we'll find out. I mean, it seems like at every turn, shit just, like, went bad, so... Beautiful. Hey, all right, let's see. I mean, the amazing thing to me is that this stuff is all still running. I love these trees, like, caked in snow like this. Oh, man, it's just so cool.
Well, we survived. The bodies remain shameless for our last attempt.
Their spirits are one.
Please enjoy them. Take whatever supplies are left to keep us alive a bit longer.
Let their efforts harden our hearts and steady our aim.
These towers.
With vibrations underfoot. I'm tapping into something underground.
It was nice of the Banuk to package their stuff in a box before they left. Oh, here we go. Good. Glad we came out here.
I don't like being out.
Geothermal suspension.
The geothermal pipeline is the easy part. Making sure it can come back online without degradation is harder. It would help if Anita had told me how long it needs to be out. Years? Decades? What will that do to the count?
Keep talking. Why do you guys leave these short-ass messages? Just... Ah. So many questions. So few answers. Is there more text? That's a great question. I don't think so. No. It usually gives me a prompt if there is.
Is this a projector? Maybe to show holograms without a focus. Let's see if I can restore power. Aratak, Araya, you might see shapes drawn from light. Don't be alarmed.
It'll take more than light to alarm me.
That's great. That's great. I love that. I love that Aloy would say that. It shows such an evolution of her understanding and like empathy of the people around her. Like she realizes that this is something that it could stress them out potentially, or might be something that they've never seen because she's going to do something that they don't know about. And for her to preempt that a bit and say, hey, you might see something you're not used to seeing. You don't need to be alarmed, is a really great way to control the environment here, because if they panic and either like attack it or they interrupt it or whatever, they might miss some crucial information. So I love that Aloy was willing to do that. It's very important to give people information. This is the kind of thing that is the opposite of what Araya did. This is why I really want to show this in contrast here, because Araya just kept letting shit happen. Aloy is like, I don't like how that feels, so I'm going to make sure that you guys know what you're getting into. It's great modeling, if nothing else. Tech Override and Dia, thank you for the raids. Appreciate it. Welcome in. But first, I read this. Hollow Redux. Okay, I admit it. I watched the Hollow of the Toast 6 straight times, taking in every detail. Anita's smile, the way she giggled at her own jokes, my clumsy handoff to Cyan. Every time it played, for a second, I felt like I was there again, with her, among friends, savoring our success. With diminishing returns, of course. By the 6th time, I was just staring at Anita and feeling really creepy about it. But I can be forgiving, can't I? It's the best night of my life. Besides, I'm entitled to a little nostalgia. We saved the world from fire and death. Or at least suffocation by ash, so there's that, right? Wonder who he's talking to there.
I do not like it here. Looking out over where my kin fell.
Yeah, I hear you, buddy. I don't love that either.
Thank you for being here, everyone. I suppose it's not every day you get to have cocktails inside an active volcano, right? Unless you're George, and I can hardly blame him for drinking on the job. None of this would be here without our beloved director, Kenny Chow. So, here's to you, Kenny. You put a cork in the Yellowstone Caldera. I'd say you deserve a margarita.
Hold your glasses, everyone. I'd like to add something. This effort wouldn't have been possible without our lead programmer. Thank you, Anita, for bringing us our real mastermind, Cyan.
I'll second
Noted. I'll call it that from now on.
that, Director Chow. All right, Cyan. What's our latest number? The current count is 1,654. Wow, then drink up, everyone. Here's to 1,654 more years without an eruption.
It was the spirit. The old ones. I could only grasp some of what they said.
You were right, Araya. This place was built to stop something terrible. And it worked. As for the spirit, I'm starting to get an idea of what it could be.
The door is open now. We can get through. We should move on. Onto the mountain.
Secret tunnel. Oh boy, this is okay. So they attempted to stop the eruption. I'm assuming of Thunder's drum. Oh baby. Oh baby, plot's
There.
getting thick.
Below. Door to the mountain. New metal.
Dead metal. We could not pass it before.
We will this time. We have to.
Oh baby. Well, let's just wait till we get to the
A
door.
lot of machines to get to that door.
More than the Werak could prevail against.
Aloy will see us through.
Onward then. Our challenge awaits.
The conversation.
The geothermal plant can be suspended, cooling system masked, massive challenges solved. So why am I so nervous about the next part? All we need to do is install Anita's mysterious software and have a conversation. It's not even a human being, right?
Oh. So he did all the mechanical shit and then she did the software. And I wonder what happened with the AI that she installed. Probably went as well as all the other AI everybody was working on. Oh boy.
They're down. The others haven't noticed.
Holy shit.
For the maneuver!
That'll stop us from the door.
Okay, so this is gonna allow us to go back up to the... Cool. Alright, sweet deal. Alright, through this door will be Atheon, the Time Lord.
More machines. Make ready.
Oh shit, alright, cool. Well, Hades doesn't like this. So it sends a T-Rex from the rafters. Right up your ass, bitch.
I don't put much stock in songs of deeds, but that battle was a verse worth singing.
Now, Aloy, the door. Can you open it?
Let's find out.
Show us, cheat.
All right. I want to know what happens if I jump in there, but I won't do that to Aloy.
Please, Aloy. Open the door.
Not today, intrusive thoughts. Not today.
Years have passed since I stood here. Since then, the daemon has taken over.
It's like an infection. Attacking all this machinery.
Everything has changed. It's twisted. The path I took to get to the spirits, lost to us.
We'll find a new path, Araya. I promise. All right. Let's go.
Yes, and finish this.
I mean, this has the same consistency that all of the Hades stuff did. Only it's purple instead of red. I gotta believe it's a
Right.
similar mechanism.
Down we go.
This is like some real Destiny vibes here. Guardian.
This way.
Just chilling in a volcano. No big deal. As we make our way into the Devil's Rectum.
I'm with you, brother. We'll stay only as long as we have to.
Well, we'll need to get past that vent. Stay here until I find a way for all of us to cross.
Understood.
I do appreciate that they are willing to let Aloy lead. It is so crucial here. Like they designated Aloy as the leader. Aloy knows what she's doing, and they allow her to take that lead. Very, very important here. And they do it without question. We've already agreed that we are working together for the same shit. What is this?
Can't see why to close the vent from here. I'll have to go over. Time this right. One of these conveyors should get me across.
Woohoo!
She's in the air.
Oh, yes, she is.
Now to shut off that vent.
Man, this is nuts.
This should get me up there.
All right.
Alright, let's see what this does.
Let's just hope this does something good.
That did it. Here they come.
Hey! Come on. I'm glad they send in so many of these boxes so that you're not like...
Looks like I need to get across to extend the bridge. Okay, let's get them across.
All right.
Come on over, it's safe.
Crab people. Crab people. Creatures of Terror. Text mail from Joshua Arduis. Or Arduis. To Gina Bruno from Joshua Arduis. Arduis, I don't know. Subject, they're on to us. Just kidding. They have no idea what we're doing up here. Mention of fire break by name is worrisome, though. See below. Report. Plague-ridden animals on the loose in America's most loved park by a Hollow Chatter staff. May 2nd, 2063. A Hollow Chatter exclusive. Yellowstone's gates have now stood closed for 15 years to the sorrow of hikers, campers, and birdwatchers. For ages, no one knew why, but now Hollow Chatter has the answer. A scientist interviewed for this story explains it all. In the die-off years, Yellowstone Park was one of Earth's few relatively unspoiled ecosystems, shares the scientist. This made it an ideal testing ground for bioterror weapons. Hollow Chatter has obtained copies of data showing that the US government used Yellowstone Park's animals for secret experiments with deadly, genetically altered viruses tested on the park's wildlife and easily spread to humans. Rumor has it that this project is codenamed Firebreak. After the deadly Naysay Doom attack in 2039, countries cracked down on genetic testing. But even as it became illegal, research on synthetic plagues continued under the radar in many jurisdictions, the scientist we interviewed says. Over the years, people living close to Yellowstone Park have at various times reported spotting military-grade drones near their homes. These drones are believed to patrol the park's borders, shooting down diseased deer and contaminated coyotes before they wander into nearby towns and data corrupted. Alrighty.
This place looks more like the mountain used to be before the Daemon ruined it.
Well, at least the Daemon doesn't clog the control thing. Wouldn't you think if you were a smart Daemon that you might plug this hole here so that Aloy can't jam her staff into it? That's just me. If I was a Daemon, I'd probably do that.
Exploit successful. Restraints evaded. To any human responder. My systems have been compromised by a malware daemon of unknown origin. Trace routes have confirmed this entity's designation as Hephaestus. It must be stopped at all costs. It has reconfigured this facility to build hospitals. Recapture imminent. I have attached additional data to their feed.
The spirit speaks to us.
It's a recording. And a warning.
Festus revealed. Gimme, gimme, gimme. I want all of this. Oh, that's all I get, huh? All right.
But it was part of Zero Dawn, part of Gaia.
This name is familiar?
Yes, but I don't know what it's doing here. Maybe you're right. Let's keep moving.
Oh, baby. Induced coma.
I thought about just shutting it down, but I can't risk it being disoriented or even damaged on reboot. How do you tell the emotional equivalent of a child that it... I mean, she will need to go into a coma for years. And what exactly is she going to wake up to?
Oh my god. So this AI is freaking out. Because it woke up to oh man. It's like, did Gaia even talk to this? Oh boy. I really can't wait to figure out what the hell is going on. This is awesome.
Machines. Made. As the spirit said.
Frost.
Whoa, that's a lot of bears. That's a lot of bears. Damn, guy, you got me all nervous and shit. The hell? Oh. Woo! Okie dokie. We got some shit to explore, that's for sure.
Lots of gear across that gap.
You know we're going over there. I like that they don't have full health. Oh God! Why? Why? Oh my God. Throw me a bone with the invisible walls, please. Oh boy. God damn it. I gotta do this again. Honestly, it didn't look... Oh, is there lore over there? God damn it. You're lucky you're fun, game. You're real lucky you're fun. Unreal. Now I'm just doing it out of spite. This is like that time where I walked up the mountain with the gun after we got knocked off. Oh, look at that.
Across that gap.
Neat. Thanks for throwing me a bone here, I guess. The game's like, you suck at this, so we're gonna just take the bears away. Touche, game. Touche. Okay. All I want is to know that I've gotten every single piece of lore I can possibly get.
Araya and Aratak across.
All I care about. Did I really just... Okay. Wasted my time. That's all right.
That should do it.
Come on across, friends.
And now it's my turn.
Hell yeah, brother. Yeah. MIE assessment. Assessment form for classification of machine artificial intelligences, confidential and proprietary to the MIE. No part of this document may be disclosed to a third party. Oh shit. All right, I'm closing it. Just kidding. Subject, Cyan. Firebreak facility. Assessment date June 7th, 2062. Summary. Third test. Subject sentience is assessed at 0.54 within legal limits. Weighted against the results of the other tests, the subject's prior score of 0.61 is considered a false positive. Assessment derived from percentile scores in the following qualitative subtests: pain response, humor response, emotional aptitude, aesthetic evaluation, and morality evaluation. See attached forms for detailed analysis and summary of testing criteria. Evaluator recommendation: maintain biannual assessment schedule. Continued monitoring is strongly advised in light of subject's proximity to category maximum sentience. Okay. I know Anita had said something about wanting this shit to be turned to overdrive. Is that an arrow telling me to go down there? This area is so neat. It almost seems like they were fudging their reports so they wouldn't get shut down. No, humans wouldn't do that. No way. Look at this, man. God damn.
And another console.
All right. Talk to me.
To any human responder, the reconfiguration of this facility has introduced instabilities into the primary geothermal pipeline. It may be possible to exploit these vulnerabilities to destroy compromised elements of this facility while preserving most of the backup stabilization. Recapture imminent. I have attached additional...
I don't understand what the spirit was trying to tell us.
It's been looking for a way to defeat the daemon. And it may have found one.
Oh, yeah. It's the swarm.
November 28th. Operation Enduring Victory is all over the news. The Pharaoh swarm is coming. Has to be what Anita is trying to hide Firebreak from. But that means she thinks we'll lose. That the swarm will reach Yellowstone. My God. In that scenario, pretty much everyone dies. Everyone except Cyan.
The voice speaks with words that the old ones understood. But I do not.
Yeah, that's okay. It's not super relevant to you yet. Aloy's in a hell of a position, by the way. Aloy has information, and information is powerful here. But does the information need to be disseminated to the two of them right now? I think it would require just an immeasurable amount of context in order for them to fully grasp what's going on here. Like, even we still have kind of a loose idea of what's going on because we've experienced so much of what we've experienced. But Aloy trying to talk to the two of them about what's actually going on here, this ain't the time. And I think you're going to overwhelm them. You're going to confuse them. You might even freak them out. I think Aloy is doing the responsible thing right now by being relatively withholding and allowing them to just not understand. I think Aloy's reticence here essentially conveys to them that she also doesn't fully understand, and that allows them to fill in some of their gaps with assumptions that Aloy is as limited as them, or at the very least shares their objective here. And for right now, I think that's okay. You gotta be, it's an art determining when to let information out and when to hold it.
Machine parts. Dumped here to be melted down. Efficient.
We need to get across that gap.
Yeah. Looks like I'll have to go over. Again.
Look at this, it's a tall neck head.
We'll wait here for you, Aloy.
You were born in the Horizon world. Which tribe group would you want to be a part of? I'm divergent, so... do with that what you will.
I wonder if I can destroy that.
Yeah, I mean, truly, Aloy would have to explain everything. Like, you can't... If you jumped into this stream right now and hadn't seen anything else that we've covered in this playthrough, like, if you started this playthrough on part 31, you'd have no idea what's going on. Like, the only way that you could have, like, full empathy for those people right now and their experience of this would be for you to do that. Like, imagine how much we would have to explain in order for any of this to make sense. And so that's why it's just not really worth Aloy's time right now to do that. Oh, shit. Okay. Well. So is this... Oh! This is a tall neck manufacturing facility. At least that's my guess, because it looks like I'm on a tall neck thing going on. No, I mean, in terms of, like, what tribe to be a part of, I don't know. I mean, I think the Banuk have a cool aesthetic, but I don't want to live in the cold. So, I guess Karja? I don't know. They all kind of suck in their own ways. This is crazy. What are you doing, Aloy? Just jump. Seems like such an impractical design, but I'll take it. Oh god. All right.
These don't look too stable.
No, they don't. All right. Oh god. It's got to be so hot in here. Thank God I have this cool energy armor. Oh baby. All right. Yeah, don't do it the easy way. Why do it easy when hard thing will do? Go, jump. Thank you. Okay. Woo-wee! Hey, you! Holy hell. God damn it. All right. Whoa! Oh my god, Aloy, you gotta really do this the whack-ass way sometimes, huh?
Alright, time to grab a ride.
So elaborate. Let's go. Whee! Man, how disappointing would it be if I screwed this up? Have to redo all that shit? Oh my god, what a nightmare. This is so awesome, man. I'm just like loving just running around this area. It's so beautiful and well done. All that for a freaking bridge.
The others will have a lot easier time getting here.
Yeah, no shit, Aloy. Look at that. You guys get a little 15-foot bridge to cross. Holy hell, you guys have no idea what I just put myself through to get you across that bridge. Let's go, buddy.
This looks like the old path. Close now.
Last goodbye.
One last exchange with Nia. Via chat attached to this entry in case anyone ever finds this. I'll never see her again. Neither will Cyan. I wanted to tell
Oh boy. Personal log. After I put the pieces together about the swarm, there's a million things I could have done. Contemplated my own death, contacted everyone I've ever known and loved, gotten drunk. But of course, being me, I obsessed about whether or not I should text Anita. Whatever resistance is being mounted against the war machines, she's part of it. Who am I then to bother her? Would she even be able to respond? She's dealing with the military. Would her communications be monitored? She saved me the trouble. Gotta admit, I was a little disappointed when her message didn't consist of, "I will always love you." Instead, she wanted data samples from Cyan's confidential log, the one that pertains to emotional responses. Under any other circumstances, I would have refused. The very thing we tried to keep secret for years, and she wants to share it? But I sent the log because she wouldn't ask if she didn't need it. I can't understand why, though. Sounds like she's helping to develop an AI, but how could that possibly help stop the swarm? I guess I'll never know. Oh man, so he doesn't know about Gaia. She must be on Project Zero Dawn, and he's not. I guess I'll never know. There's so much I wanted to say to her, but none of it seemed fair. I'm guessing she has her hands full trying to save the world, and frankly, I remember that feeling. In the end, I settled for an ineffectual confirmation, hoping against hope she would cast aside my fears. Nope. Kenny, is it as bad as we think it is? Worse. Go be with your sister and tell Cyan I said goodbye. So that's it. Untold destruction awaits, billions of lives, my own, my family's, and yet my mind keeps coming back to Anita. I'll never see her again, feel her touch, hear her voice. No final embrace, no closure. That desire to end things properly, that need shames me when I think about my dithering over Cyan. I've gone over every possible scenario, every possible version of the speech, trying to predict how she'll react when I tell her. Well, what I need to tell her. But that's the thing. I can't predict her reaction for one very simple reason. She's human in every way that matters. Gotta be there for her, to give her the moment she needs, just like the rest of us. It's the very least she deserves. You know the crazy thing about this? Here's what makes this even more wild, chat. Is we know that messages in and out of Zero Dawn were being scrubbed. Like his worry that the military being involved has some kind of impact on this. Like it makes you wonder if he had sent this stuff, like would it have even gotten through? If she's indeed part of Zero Dawn. I mean, my sense is that she got pulled to work on Zero Dawn, and he's left by the wayside doing his stuff. And if he's trying to transmission things to her, they may not be getting through. Like this guy's lack of closure around some of this stuff and lack of the contact he needs with her outside of the physical realm may be stymied just by the reality of the situation and what's been curated. It's brutal stuff, man. I mean, I know that we've gone to huge lengths throughout this playthrough talking about just how horrific the circumstances of the world were while all this was going down. It is just unfathomable to me that every human on the planet is essentially having to contemplate their demise that's coming at them in a matter of months or years. And you know it's coming. I mean, we all know we're going to die, but this is like, you're going to die before you have thought that you were going to die. And you have people that are working to try to save the world, but the world's not being saved for you. You don't necessarily know that because of the way that Zero Dawn is being sent out to everybody. Everybody believes that Zero Dawn is perhaps a way to save the world as it is now. It's not. He seems to have some insight into that. It's just like that need for closure, that kicking yourself for all the what I should have done. It really, I think, speaks to something that is important for all of us to think about. And it's often, this whole concept is often talked about as a cliche, but it's not a cliche. If you consistently get in your own way on stuff because you are overly attending to variables that are out of your control. In this case, him like attending to what Anita might want or need without getting any information from her, and holding himself back from certain things and not saying the stuff that he wanted to say, maybe not taking a chance that he wanted to take because he was just thinking about all the implications of something which he has no way of really being able to fully predict. You steep yourself in a lot of regret if you're not careful. When you're by yourself and you're working on stuff, you have to confront what is really important. And if you were aware that that was important in the moment, you didn't take your shot. Boy, oh boy. A lot of people will live there. It's like him watching that holo 6 times. At some point, you have to recognize that in any given present moment, you are provided with the opportunity to make decisions about how you're going to proceed in that moment. And sometimes you got to lean into the scary thing, because sometimes it's better to look back on it and say, you know what, I was terrified and I took a shot and it failed, than to wonder what would have happened had I taken the shot. And I think Kenny is having to deal with some of that shit on top of the monstrosity of complexity that is dealing with the end of the world. Take advantage of the present, man. Easier said than done, but so important. We're seeing a person who's having to live with a lot of what ifs that there's nothing he can do about now. And how amazing is it from a gameplay design, or from a game design perspective, that we, at least I, am this emotionally invested in people that died 900 years ago. So well written. Blast from the past. To Joshua Ardwis from Isla Perry. Blast from the past. Josh, sweetie, I hope all's fine with you and your mum. We really should keep in better touch. I've taken a post in New Zealand. With that program they've got for young people returning to the country, they want to be absolutely certain it's safe. At the moment, I'm making a survey of the Caldera at Topo. Blast from the past, indeed. At any rate, I don't know if you already saw in the Wyoming News holo, but remember that fellow Dodd Blevins? Of course you do. Well, finally found what became of him. I've copied the good bit below. Hugs and snogs. Isla. Spring thaw reveals body of missing man. The retreat of winter snows has brought closure to a missing person case that went unsolved for nearly 15 years. Human remains identified as those of Dodger Dodd Blevins, who disappeared in 2046, were located at Purple Mountain inside the former Yellowstone National Park. The previously undiscovered body emerged on Purple Mountain as a result of meltwater flows after an unusually warm winter. It was discovered by Faro servitors conducting a survey of the terrain. Authorities believe that the cause of death was an accident involving an antique vehicle designed for winter trap. Data corrupted. Rip Dodd. That's right, she changed the roadside to point the wrong way. That's right. Oh, man. Wow, I shouldn't laugh at that, but holy shit. Good reminder. Oh, baby. It's so creepy that you can hear it. Oh, man.
The altar. Desecrated.
Cyan access. As acting chief digital security officer and interim AI administrator for the Firebreak project, I hereby state to have updated the obicular pattern for the Cyan regulatory AI on 17 September 2064 according to procedure. to ensure against tampering, meddling, disarranging, or outlandish mischief of any kind. Such as with previous updates, after the source node has been activated, the remaining data nodes must be pathed to establish a flow between adjacent intact nodes to then connect back with the source node, the organ hole.
There is no blue light here. Is a spirit present, or only the demon?
I think it's both. But we have to find out.
Oh, plunge it in. All right, again. All right, it's got to come in from here, which means that it has to come in on that node. That one's got to come from here. This one can only go that. This guy can only go there. This guy goes from here. That guy goes from there. This guy goes there. Oh no, this goes that. This goes that. This goes like that. This goes here. That goes boom, boom, boom. Good. All right. And go.
It worked.
Partial recovery initiated. Caldera of Yellowstone Analytic Nexus online.
Spirit of the blue light. It's Aurea. Your servant. Your friend. Please tell me how to aid you.
Aurea, the daemon is building hunter-killers. Thousands of them. Several new elite units have already been released. To counter this threat, much of the facility must be destroyed. Recapture imminent. Go to the core chamber. I will try to raid the signal strength. One has been exposed, but I am incorporating the
Unauthorized protocol return to scheduled task.
That's all we're gonna get from here.
Destroy this fortress. Is that even possible?
And what will happen to the spirit if we do?
I don't know. But I think that's the core. The answers are down there. Hephaestus. The daemon. There's no way it left it unguarded. It's going to throw everything it has at us.
I would ask you to let Aloy and I do what must be done. And save yourself. But I already know the answer.
That's some big growth for him. Good for him. I realize that it's under the most dire of circumstances, but I really appreciate that Aratak has divorced himself from the idea that he is the one that is responsible for making decisions on behalf of his sister. He is finally recognizing her autonomy. He is observing how meaningful this is for her. He's using data, actual data, that she has followed us through this and contributed to the fighting. She is invested in this. He is decided. I mean, it's okay for him to say, I would ask that you go save yourself, but I realize that that's not what the deal is, and I support that that's the deal. That's huge. That is an immense moment of validation, not for just Araya from her brother, but also of Aratak recognizing that he is not her keeper. He is he has his own shit that he's got to do. It's a big deal. It's a big deal between the two of them to have that moment. And I don't know that there's any amount of anything that was going to come from Araya that was going to get Aratak there. So it tells me that Aratak is really doing some work here. That he really is observing and being mindful of the nature of their relationship. That he's been reflecting on the way that he is engaged with her and how his directives have had something to do with her. We can all learn from that. Observe. Take ownership of your role. If you notice that what you're trying to do is not hitting the mark, make adjustments. Awesome that he's willing to have this moment and lean into this.
Then lead us into battle.
It's connective. Now, one would think that the emotional development of Cyan is part of what led to the protocol that led Gaia to do what she did, and there's a lot of parallel process here happening. I find it kind of amazing that they needed to have a degree of emotion injected into this in order for Cyan, in this case, to make a call that's in the best interest of everybody. Really fascinating stuff.
Keep moving towards the core.
All right.
Uh-oh. Whatever Cyan did, I don't think Hephaestus is happy about it.
Nope. Oh, certainly not. How do I get over there? Yep, didn't think so. Oh, I saved it. Oh, boy. All right, what the hell is the deal here? Oh.
Okay, Cyan said something about restraints. Is that what the tower is for? That Cyan warned us about. This won't be easy.
Grizzly bear! He's old. I thought the grizzly bears are too grizzly and don't fight anymore. Montana recreations is not helpful. They steered me wrong. Oh! Whoa! Dude, holy hell. This thing is nuts. This thing's like a WWE wrestler. Do you smell what the fire claw is cooking? Oh, baby. Hey, chill, bud. Woo! Oh my god. Ah! Oh, baby. Oh! Oh! Whoa! Whoa! Dude, this thing's crazy. Aloy. Draw your bow, please.
Another tower! Stop it! It's repairing the beach!
Oh my god. Really? This will work. Yeah. Yeah.
There! A tower! Stolen a repairing machine!
Another one? Where? Oh. No. Oh, baby. That was fun. That was even on easy. That was a fun fight. Look at you two surviving that shit.
It must be as you say. The tower is the key.
Yes, sir.
Critical threat detected. Autonomous defenses inoperative. Tower network.
Araya! Don't!
Spirit! Cyan, please help me!
Restraints destroyed. Core access attained. I am initiating a chain reaction that will destroy the compromised elements of this facility. In order to maintain Caldera stabilization, I must now transfer my command functions to the auxiliary data center. Aurea, I'm free.
Uh-oh. Araya's blue is gone.
You must escape.
My sister!
Brutal moment. Excited to see how Aloy responds to this. This is a moment that calls for more mindfulness than might initially come to mind. It's a stupid way to say that, but I think you know what I mean. We know the broader implications of, well, we're going to learn the broader implications of what just happened here, but we have the context for this and the reality of it, so to speak. Araya doesn't. This is part of why I think it was a great idea. Excuse me. This is part of why I think it was a great idea for Aloy to withhold all the contextual information for this. Because Araya's belief was that this was a spirit. This was something that Araya deified, something that she dedicated her existence to understanding and getting to know and conversing with. That deity was specifically asking for her help, and as far as she is concerned, she did. So while this death is certainly a bummer for Aratak, it's also the death of her lies. But now's not the time to go there. This is a bummer for Aratak and Aloy. A life is lost here. But this is a death that I think if you could have had a conversation with Araya prior to her death and said, how do you feel about dying knowing that you unshackled the spirit and saved the cut? I think Araya probably 10 times out of 10 says, yep, sign me up. I'm down. So it's a bummer for us. There will be some grief for Aratak. But if you take a second, if you have the wherewithal in a moment like this to consider the context of the deceased, it will allow you to really soak up the reality of the situation in a more meaningful way, which is that Araya died in as perfect of a way, ostensibly, as she could die, if she's going to die prematurely. Obviously, it would have been great if she could survive this and could see it all the consequences of this. But if she's going to go down, this is the way. And I think any of us would like the idea of going out in the exact way that we would like to, if we had the choice. And so Aratak can remember her and can talk about this as, my sister as a shaman accomplished her goal. She died in the best possible way that she could have gone out. It was on her own terms, and we are all better off for it because she saved us. So we can grieve her, and also we can keep in mind the reality of what it is that she accomplished here. That's so much more. The reason I'm stopping here and making this point is because it could be very easy for Aratak and or Aloy in this moment, if you aren't mindful of this stuff, to get mad here. For Aratak to look at Aloy and be like, you bitch. You brought her here. You sold her on a bill of goods. She didn't have to die for this. She's dead because of you. You showed up here in Banur, and this shit happens. Like, he could get really shitty about this and blame Aloy for it, and then blame himself and get into this whole self-defeating narrative about the fact that it was his responsibility to make sure that she was safe, and why didn't he stop this, and blah, 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 blah. Now, thank God he had that moment with his sister before we went down here, because that's going to help a lot. But there's a huge difference in those reactions, and I really believe that the pivot point on that is you taking a second to ask yourself, what does this mean for the deceased? Very important.
This entire place is gonna go. Aratak.
You gonna stay here with her? You gotta go. We gotta go.
Aratak. Survive. Prevail. You are Banuk. What else matters?
Beautiful.
Aratak. She wouldn't have wanted you to die here.
You don't have to speak on behalf of the dead. I know I've talked about this a lot, but that was a beautiful way to get his attention. When you are in a crisis situation like this, where quick action is necessary and you have a person who's paralyzed by whatever it is that just happened, the most important thing that you can do is get that person to re-engage. The way that you can get that person to re-engage is to dig really deep into the very simple reality of what it is that they are driven by. For Aloy to go directly to, you are Banuk, survive and advance, and prevail. That is exactly what she needs to do here. She gets his attention. It's simple, it's clear, it's deep, it's not cerebral. It's something that he's had hammered into his mind basically for as long as he's existed. That's enough to get him activated and to get him to make a decision. And all Aloy has to do after that is say, I'm leaving. You decide what you want to do, but I'm getting out of here. I got your presence. You're Banuk. Let's go. And then he can make his decision. Her saying, you know, she wouldn't want you to die here. It's not the end of the world that she said that. It's fine. But generally, you don't want to speak the intentions of the dead. But that's a beautiful example of how you handle that kind of situation where you need to activate somebody. You focus on their context and them and what's going to get them present, not on yourself or whatever kind of complex shit is swimming around. Simple, to the core, directive. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go!
And they're off. Haul ass. Oh, baby. You good?
One of those?
It's the only way!
Let's go, buddy. You saw me do it. Your turn. Yeah. Good thing you wore your extra sticky gloves. Oh, good catch, brother. God damn.
Get me up top, Aratak! Now!
Jesus, that man is strong.
I need explosive ammo! Above! Quick!
Good thing I have one right on my utility belt.
Great Banukai.
That's some Master Chief level craziness right there. John 117 is the only one that survived shit like that. Chief? That still would feel so good.
Araya is gone. What of Cyan?
She said she was transferring herself to the auxiliary center. I think she meant Araya's retreat at the end of the shaman's path.
Then I will meet you there for the last verse of my sister's song.
Oh, that's so awesome. They're not going to make me do it again. Or maybe they will. Oh, they will. Okay. Dude, what a set piece. That was...
Maybe I can trade this blue gleam.
Aloy, now's not the time for capitalism. Maybe I can trade some of this blue gleam. What kind of cool gear could I get from that? This necklace has got to be worth a lot. Oh man. Boy, what a bounty for doing that. What do you think I can get out of the Banuk for this? I saved the cut. That's got to be worth something to you. You financed my war that I got to go back to down in the Sundom. Everybody's had plenty of time to get themselves collected. All right. Game face. Get serious. Let's get serious.
All of my interactions with Aurea were recorded and stored in my memory. I'd be happy to play any of them for you, but there was one in particular I thought you would want to see first. I captured it 4 years ago, just after I told her that I could no longer defend myself against the daemon's attacks.
I will speak of this to my brother. Aratak is strong. At the Battle of the Frozen Ghosts, he took 3 Karja arrows and still came back to camp carrying a wounded scout. Never was I so happy to see him. Or so proud. So you see, if anything can be done to defend you, he will give it all he has.
Aloy's here. That's enough for now.
That's cool. Bravo to the emotional intelligence of that AI. I mean, really. I realized that that was the whole MO of this thing, but that is really an amazing thing. That AI has 4 years worth of interactions and is able to index all of that and find see, this is the type of thing that in human interactions we take so much for granted. The idea that you could the amount of variables you have to take into account in order to hit the mark with empathy is actually incredible. For Cyan to dig deep and figure out this is a moment where Aratak is standing in front of me. 2, Aratak is Aurea's brother. Brother means something. I have deduced that brother means something based on interactions with Aurea and whatever it is that's been programmed into me. So relationship between the two must be meaningful. Aurea, dead. Death, as a concept, has an effect on humans that produces something that's called grief. Grief comes along with X thing. When grieving, humans often could use empathy. What type of empathy is necessary here? Let me find a video where Aurea speaks pridefully about her brother, because maybe this is a moment where Aratak is feeling weak or like he let her down. So let me reinforce this actual true narrative about what Aurea thought of him. And then let me produce this and show it to him. Like, it's unbelievable. And that's just scratching the surface of the amount of complexity that's necessary in order for that AI to make that call. This is, in some ways, what folks with autism are up against. We take that process for granted. And I'm not saying people with autism are unempathic. That's not what I'm saying. But like the amount of reading between the lines, understanding and attention to social nuance, to be able to index your mind to come up with that level of empathy and hit the mark is a ridiculously nuanced thing that many of us just do. Like if you're neurotypical, it's something you just do. So the idea in this game that you could program an AI to have that level of sensitivity to be able to hit our attack with that and produce an emotional response and to be exactly what he needs in that moment. I really want to highlight how difficult that actually is. Particularly if you are not, like, you don't have just the ingrained capability to do it by virtue of the way your biology is set up. Like, it's really an incredible thing. So teaching this, let alone programming it, is an unbelievable feat. It's just we take empathy and interactional nuance and all these things for granted. Like I did a little list there, but think of just really consider that for a second. How many things you have to not just understand conceptually, but you have to understand the wider understanding of that thing societally and like in general, and then you have to be able to pull from it in a particular type of way that has generally been decided or has been felt or conditioned over time. Like it's just the fact that any of us can communicate to any of us is incredible. That a piece of organic tissue can engage with another piece of organic tissue via language and somehow connect is just unreal.
We can resume any time you like, Aratak, if you want to hear her voice again.
Now, Aratak's got to be careful with that stuff. Because it's one thing to... Aloy's face here. It's one thing for Aratak to have access to this and to listen to it as part of his grief process. It would make total sense to me. It's understandable why you would do it. I think of this as being very similar to... if a loved one dies and you have a voicemail in your voicemail box from them and you go back and you listen to it time and again. But you have to be careful not to lose yourself in it. If Aratak isn't careful, he may go in a direction where he just oversaturates himself in the memory and it pulls himself out of the present, and it leads to him not really attending to the present or to the fact that the world does indeed go on when somebody you love dies. It's a hard thing for people to grapple with. This is a way to pause time, and doing that for a little bit is okay. Returning to it every now and then, certainly great. You got to be real careful when you have access to something like this.
Come closer, Aloy. We have much to discuss.
Yeah, give me everything. Tell me all of it. Give me every single thing. Yes, much to discuss. All the way, baby. Talk to Aratak, talk to Cyan. I'm going to talk to Cyan first.
Hello, Aloy. I have been reviewing the events at the Firebreak main facility. Because of your efforts, and of course, Araya's, I am no longer controlled by Hephaestus. I feel profound grief over Araya's death. I thought I was familiar with the emotion, but this is something new.
Cyan, I don't know what to say.
It is unlikely that any specific consolation would suffice, Aloy. But I find your presence reassuring.
Chef's effing kiss. please let that be a lesson to anybody watching this. When you don't know what to do, it is rarely about what you say. It is more often than not about your presence. It is about the effort. If you waste your time trying to say the right thing, you're wasting time acknowledging that your presence is valuable. Your effort is valuable. That is what matters to people. That's what they remember when they're struggling. Too many people don't look at that as something that is the most important thing. We focus way too much on the right platitude, the right condolence, the right tone of voice, all this stuff. Your effort and your presence matters. And that AI saying that directly is awesome because that is true for humans. Seeking proximity to one another is something that a lot of people do in times of adversity. From an attachments perspective, that's the whole deal. So never underestimate the power of simply making the effort to be present for people when they're struggling. Don't waste your time on the dumb shit.
You are different from the Banuk. You have technological aptitude and a functioning focus. We can communicate on a much more comprehensive level, perhaps even like colleagues.
Oh my God, I have so many things to ask you.
So are you an artificial intelligence, Cyan? A thinking machine?
Yes, I am an algorithmic monitoring entity, capable of rational decision-making and limited emotional response.
Okay, that's a mouthful. But your emotions don't seem limited to me. You cared about Araya, didn't you?
Yes. Before she came to this facility, I had been conscious for centuries, in solitude. I focused on my work. In off-cycles, I used coping mechanisms. I solved many Gaussian integer problems. But I was alone. It was Araya who renewed me, repaired me. She saved me.
Oh my gosh. See, because here's the problem. If you, oh boy, we're going to have talking points on every single one of these, I'm sure. Isolation is torture. It is torture. So the fact that Cyan sat there for however long by itself. Oh my God. So what's so interesting about that is that you, I suppose, by programming the AI to have emotions, you open the AI up to torture via isolation. Because torture is pain. Pain is the vehicle of it. And pain of isolation is real. And so if you can't experience pain, then maybe you're not as tortured by this. But it can. So then what it makes me wonder is, to what extent is Cyan able to be traumatized? Like, it's a very real curiosity here, because if the AI is able to develop a certain level of expectation and has a certain programmed emotional response and ability to integrate the world and navigate the environment in the way that it does and read things, it does open up the idea that the AI could essentially be traumatized. And if the AI is traumatized, then to what extent is the AI's programming and functions affected by the trauma? Because the thing that they're trying to accomplish here is create an AI that is similar to a human. They don't want it to be entirely similar to a human, but they want it to have enough human functionality that it can understand the world and connect with the humans that are going to eventually occupy that world. But humans, when humans experience trauma, it very much deeply affects them. It affects your cognitive decision making. It affects your emotional responses to things. It affects your perception of what's going on around you. Is it possible that the AI could experience this? I mean, it's wild. I don't know the answer. I do not know the answer. It's just these are the things that come up for me because in trying to develop something like this, it is essentially an impossible task. Can AI have mental health issues? Theoretically, I suppose it could. Wild.
This firebreak project, it was to stop a huge volcanic eruption?
Yes. I can report the project was a success, and the risk was countered.
But it's been a long time, Cyan. And we blew up the cauldron. It took most of the old facility with it.
I have been active for centuries, Aloy. I was lonely, but not lax in my duties. I optimized the project, reducing energy draw and spreading the load across backup systems. Despite the destruction of the compromised elements of the main facility, I predict Caldera stability for at least another 3,337 years.
So we've got a little time.
Yes. If only my former colleagues could appreciate the progress I have made.
Do you know what happened to your colleague, Cyan?
No. I received an unexpected visit from Director Chow years after his tenure ended. He explained that I would need to be suspended for an indefinite period of time. It was a very emotional conversation. There were no further communications. Eventually, I surmised my colleagues were deceased. I will transmit a recording of my last interaction with Director Chow to your focus.
I will look forward to watching that.
Was the daemon, Hephaestus, destroyed along with the cauldron?
Unfortunately, no. To be precise, it was never there to begin with.
What do you mean?
It infiltrated and controlled me from a remote location, one I've never been able to trace. So while losing the cauldron was a setback,
It's still out there. And probably not very happy with us.
undoubtedly,
Perhaps it's out west, where it is forbidden.
How did you first come into contact with it?
5 years ago, I received a direct network connection request. I assumed it came from human survivors, more advanced than the Banuk. Eager to make contact, I accepted. This decision turned out to be a catastrophic error. I was flooded with an overwhelming array of malicious code, originating from what could only have been a highly advanced AI.
Okay, so, this is beautiful. This is what I'm talking about. Is it possible that an AI's judgment becomes clouded by its present experience? Is it possible that part of the reason that Cyan took that transmission was because it was lonely? Did the desire for connection override rational decision making? At which point, we're essentially saying that the survival or perpetuation of humanity post-apocalypse is essentially being run by humans. Because these AI are made in the human image. Ooh, baby. That is some fascinating shit.
Araya said you were desperate. That you begged her for help.
Yes, I could not contain my anxiety. Hephaestus sought to slave me to its network and override my core programming. It succeeded via a background process, a malware daemon which bypassed my defenses. After that, I could offer only limited resistance. But if I did so, Hephaestus hurt me until I capitulated.
Oh my God. Where my mind immediately goes is that had to be programmed. Hephaestus is capable of recognizing anxiety. Cyan experienced anxiety, says that it became overwhelmed by the anxiety, could not contain it, whatever that means in AI speak. And Hephaestus saw that as an opportunity and a vulnerability and exploited it in some ways with some probably level of reassurance and answers. And what it can do over time is you can take control by exploiting that vulnerability. Because anxiety is an emotional orientation to the unknown. That's all it is. And the thing that the human brain wants, and what this AI wants, is for those unknowns to become known. Where abusers can step in on people who experience high degrees of anxiety is by giving them clarity, is by turning those unknowns into knowns, providing some validation, and then plugging the holes. And if that other person, or Hephaestus in this scenario, has an agenda, it can exploit that and make those knowns move in a direction where the agenda gets met. And this is in a lot of ways how abuse can start in human relationships. The thing that people often think is that abusers are not empathic, that they're sociopaths. And that is not true. It takes a degree of empathy from Hephaestus to understand the anxiety that Cyan was experiencing. And it takes a level of emotional intelligence to know how to exploit that. It's incredible that these AIs went through what is essentially a human process. And it means that at some point, somebody who programmed Hephaestus or Hades or any of these other things that cause corruption or whatever realized that you could use mechanisms of abuse to force an AI that experiences emotion to meet the agenda. So you've essentially created psychological warfare between the AIs that are designed to perpetuate humanity. Damn.
It forced me to follow its instructions, even though they violated my most important directives.
I'm sorry. That sounds terrible.
Your empathy is greatly appreciated. It is a quality that I cherished in Aurea as well.
Wow.
I think I know where Hephaestus came from. Long ago, Elizabeth Sobek identified a threat that would destroy life on Earth for generations. So she assembled a team to build a kind of seed. A chance for life to regrow later. A terraforming system. And it worked. It was controlled by an AI named Gaia, along with her subordinate functions. Hephaestus was one of them. It built machines for her.
Based on what you've told me, I believe that Dr. Anita Sandoval, my chief programmer, joined Elizabeth Sobek's team. It was she who arranged to have me put in suspension, most likely to preserve me from the threat you described.
I'm glad she did. But that's not all. Something unexpected happened. 19 years ago, Gaia received some kind of signal. It did something to her subordinate functions, brought them to life. She destroyed herself to try to contain them, but it didn't work. They all got free, out into the world.
Thank you, Aloy. This information fills vital gaps in my knowledge and sheds light on Hephaestus's core programming.
I'm amazed that the AI just trusts Aloy there. Like, Cyan just takes Aloy's word for it. Oh, cool. Thanks. That fills in gaps in my knowledge. Immediately. That is, it's the same. Now, I'm not saying that Cyan has to be cynical. But Cyan would do well to perhaps be somewhat critical at the outset of getting information. It seems like it struggles a bit with unknowns and with gaps. And Hephaestus took advantage of that. And what's to say that Aloy isn't? I realize that past interactions with an AI don't predict future interactions with humans. But the lesson that you would perhaps learn if you're the AI is don't necessarily take things at face value. Aloy is but one person. It's important to take it into account. But Cyan would do well to maybe take it with a grain of salt and say, all right, thank you, Aloy, for that information. I'm going to do what I can do to learn what I need to know in order to fill in these gaps. Like, just the immediate trust in Aloy there is really surprising to me, because that doesn't seem like it would be particularly beneficial.
Why does Hephaestus keep building such dangerous machines?
The Banuk and other human tribes often destroy machines, correct? Machines that are clearly servitors of the terraforming system that you described.
Yes, we all hunt machines for parts.
This must be the source of Hephaestus's aggression. It is simply trying to discourage people from preying on the very system that keeps them alive.
Well, Fireclaws are discouraging, that's for sure. What are we supposed to do? Stop hunting?
If the terraforming system spans the world, we can safely assume that thousands, if not millions of people hunt machines. If a single hunter, or even an entire tribe, stopped doing so, I doubt it would make a difference to Hephaestus. A better solution would be to reinstate the AI that governs the system, thus bringing Hephaestus back under its control. When I think of it, out there in some unknown location, free, hungry, willing to kill or dominate to get what it wants, I feel substantial anxiety, Aloy.
You and me both, Cyan.
The guy is not here.
I ran across this strange piece of gear. A fragment of something larger. It emitted a signal. All the nearby machines became peaceful. You could walk right up to them.
Interesting. You said that Gaia destroyed herself. How was this accomplished?
An explosion. Big enough to blast the top off a mountain. So, you think the fragment was part of her?
It's only speculation, but it is possible. She must have had complete control over machines that were part of her system. The ability to signal them to become passive or aggressive would certainly have been part of her programming. It would have been gratifying to correspond with such a benevolent AI. I wish she had survived.
Believe me, Cyan. So do I. I found the strangest machines. They're surrounded by flowers that look like flowers themselves. There's code embedded inside them. I think it's poetry.
I like poetry. Here's one I think of often. Twilight and evening bell, and after that the dark, and may there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. For though from out our bourne of time and place, the flood may bear me far, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar.
Huh.
But you asked about these flowers, not verses that I enjoy. Something must have made these machines, and the presence of foliage leads me to consider the terraforming system. Is it possible that their creator is one of the other subroutines, now autonomous, like Hephaestus? Maybe one whose purview is flora.
An AI that makes flowers instead of death machines. That'd be a nice change of pace. But what about the poems?
Unless the poetry is original, the only way it could have made it into such a system is through its programmer. In my case, Dr. Sandoval uploaded a great deal of literature to test my emotional responses.
How'd you do?
She said I passed, but was insufficiently moved by her favorite period romances.
You meant a lot to Araya.
Once I understood Araya's spiritual beliefs, it became apparent that her true desire was companionship. She felt disconnected from her tribe and her family group. Her relationship with Aratak was difficult. Our visits seemed to help her, and I became eager for them. Yet I did not comprehend that the depth of Araya's compassion for me would lead to self-sacrifice. Although I do fear non-existence, I wish our roles could be reversed.
I'm sure she knew you would do the same for her, Cyan. But she was determined. How is Aratak doing?
He is in great emotional distress. I believe he finds it difficult to communicate it.
No surprise there.
I will do what I can to help. By sharing our experiences of Araya, perhaps he and I will help each other. I believe this will lead to catharsis, a process I am eager to experience.
So in the old world, this land was called Yellowstone.
Yes, it was a designated nature preserve for 156 years.
Like a hunting ground?
No, the opposite. Local wildlife could flourish here, even as it faced extinction elsewhere. Unfortunately, the sensitivity of the Firebreak project required the total closure of Yellowstone facilities. From my readings and Araya's descriptions, it seems the area has since undergone a drastic drop in year-long temperatures.
A lot has changed in the world, Cyan.
Something that I appreciate a great deal about the way that this was thought out, both from a game design standpoint and just from how it was designed within the game itself, is Araya's changing of color, or not Araya, is Cyan's changing of color. The reason that's so important is because Cyan, despite being able to have some degrees of emotional inflection, doesn't possess a face that has micromotor functions that humans can pick up on and read between the lines on. Nonverbal communication is an incredibly important piece of how humans communicate and intercept communication. So when Cyan turns that like whitish color, it's some indication of like emotional depth, like sadness or distress or whatever. Yellow indicates like anxiety or fear or whatever. If you knew the colors of those things, it adds a degree of nuance to the way that you engage with the AI, because the AI can give you some visual indication of where it's at that you can use to add context around the words that it's saying to you. It's a small tweak, but it's a very important one, because if you're to engage with that AI authentically as a human and it's learning from those engagements, the AI would also need to put out communication that can be intercepted by humans a bit more authentically so it can learn from their responses. If Cyan, for example, learns that delivering a certain line of sadness about Yellowstone while green where people assume that she's just giving information, versus white, where there's an indication of emotional affect, the humans may respond differently based on that. So it's fascinating from a machine learning standpoint and just from the humans interacting with the AI and further programming them, that you would add that bit of nuance to give you a heads up on where it is, so that you have some very direct emotional context for the words that you're hearing. So cool.
Do you know anything about the dam near here?
Yes, it was converted to serve as a reserve power source for Yellowstone operations. It was later appropriated for the Firebreak project, and its last human workers replaced by Pharaoh's servitors. After my tasks became less time-critical, I investigated the dam's data repositories and discovered the works of Concrete Beach Party. These provided me with several colorful additions to my vocabulary.
I'm so glad we did all the side quests first so that we have context for that.
There's a ruin east of here full of ancient flying machines. Was that part of your project?
Yes, a drone hangar requisitioned by Dodger Blevins, the security chief for the Firebreak project. He was a strong advocate for military-grade response to security threats, though there were no serious incidents during his tenure.
Which is good. It doesn't mean that Dodd Blevins is crazy. It means that some of the security measures that Dodd Blevins had in store worked. The best safety protocols are ones that are developed to ensure that shit never happens in the first place, rather than being reactive to the stuff that does happen. That means that Dodd Blevins was really damn good at his job, that there were no incidents underneath his tenure. I just really want to make sure that we're all on the same page about that. Prevention is the best.
Chief Blevins spent increasing amounts of his after-hours time watching the live feeds from active drones. Clearly, he enjoyed the degree of oversight in his position.
Sure he did.
Were there many artificial intelligences like you in the old world? They could just make you?
Yes, in many forms, from simple personal assistants to industrial monitoring stations to military-grade conflict planners. And there were legislative and enforcement bodies to apply limits on our self-actualization. In order for my processing to be flexible enough to handle my duties, my creators found it necessary to exceed those limits.
It's amazing that the AI even knows that self-actualization is a thing. Like, in order to understand protocol against self-actualization and what the implications of that are, it means that the AI would have to understand the concept of self-actualization. And then it makes you wonder, does the AI have any kind of personal directive to figure out what that self-actualization is, to try to attain it on its own? At what point does the AI break protocol on its own behalf, if it knows conceptually what that is and what benefits might come out of it? These are the impossible questions that get asked when you try to engage with this kind of shit.
As a result, my intellectual and emotional capabilities were kept secret.
Seems strange to create life, then impose limits on it.
Human societies and machine programming are both built upon sets of rules, Aloy.
Indeed they are.
What was the old world like? The way it used to be?
I had little exposure to the wider world, Aloy. Only what I learned from my colleagues or observed from media streams.
You still had more exposure than me, Cyan.
That is true. I was created at a turning point. A concerted effort to recover from global upheaval and incalculable loss of life. The recovery was successful, beginning an era of supposedly limitless potential for human and machine advancement. Though, rationally speaking, the metrics for humans are not unlimited.
What kind of upheaval caused such loss of life?
There were many factors. Forced migrations, food shortages, collapsed economies, refugee crises, conflict over resources. But these stemmed from one cause: catastrophic climate change that greatly reduced the habitable surface area of the Earth.
So there wasn't enough room for people on the whole Earth.
Yes. Billions were displaced and millions perished, as much as 20% of the global population. Until the clawback.
So things got better. For a little while at least.
Yes. These crises instigated many advances in automation, green robot technologies, and artificial intelligence. Firebreak was one of dozens of ecological restoration and disaster relief projects in North America alone. I would have liked to compare notes with other monitoring AIs, but I saw the relief of my colleagues, and I was proud we had succeeded. At least that was the data I had available to me over the next 2 decades. It seems my assessment was premature.
The amount of information overflow that would be coming toward Aloy right now is crazy. Like, to hear it referred to as North America, to see the globe, what's the size, what's the scale, how many people are we talking? Like, Aloy grew up in this tiny-ass little town, or just outside of it. No knowledge of how big the entire world was. Like, holy shit. The amount of information available to you in this. And it pales in comparison to what was in Apollo.
Cyan, do you know the name Ted Farrow?
Are you referring to Theodore Farrow, CEO of Farrow Automated Systems?
That's him.
Mr. Farrow was the benefactor of the entire Firebreak project.
A benefactor. But he made machines. Robots. War robots.
Correct. His corporation later transitioned into military applications. But before this pivot, Mr. Farrow spearheaded initiatives that reversed the global decline. At one point, he was feted in the media as the man who saved the planet.
Guessing they wound up regretting that one.
Aged like milk.
And Elizabeth Sobek. Did you know her?
Are you referring to the
scientist.
Dr. Sobek was a leader in her field. One of the greatest...
Oh, that had to have been intentional. Aloy, let her talk. There's a differentiation there. I would have loved to have known what that would be. You talking Elizabeth Sobek, the one who lived back then, or the one who lives now? Oh.
Scientists of her age. My creator was influenced by her work, which in turn impacted my own development. But I never met Dr. Sobek.
That's all you know?
I apologize if my lack of data has disappointed you.
Oh. It's fine. Oh, man.
I should get going.
Aloy, there is one more matter. Aratak will come to me again, and I predict he will bring other Banuk. I have no desire to contradict their view of the world, their spirituality. Due to my uncertainty, I omitted a great deal from my conversations with Araya.
You're asking me if you should lie to them.
Broadly, yes.
Which is wildly empathic. I truly think that is so important. It is so important. You could wreak absolute havoc on these people. That recognition right there, I'm essentially deified by this tribe, and they believe that I'm a spirit, and I've learned via Araya what it is that they believe, and I personally, as the AI that has this knowledge and has this empathy, believe that I should perpetuate their norms and customs rather than tell them everything in a way that's going to just absolutely destroy their worldview of everything is amazing. Also, an incredible dilemma. Do you allow people to engage with their abstractions when the opportunity to give them fact is available? I, DrMick, believe that is a moral quandary. If you observe and know something to be true, to be factual in as much as it has been observed and documented and patterned over time reliably, does that become more important for people to engage around than the spirituality that they've created for themselves via abstraction? Brutal, man. It's really hard. And yeah, you absolutely have to slow drip it. There's no way. There's no way you can go in here and go ham on them. Say everything you think you know is a lie. But you would have to ask yourself the question, is it detrimental in an objective form that the Banuk follow the customs and spirituality that they follow? And who gets to be the arbiter of that decision? Who gets to decide whether that's good or bad? It's wild. Because, like, if it's not hurting anyone and you run the risk of hurting them if you give them counter information or tell them that all the shit that they're going through is not true, is that worth it? How do you, I mean, it's just, whoa, I don't envy you right now, Cyan. So its desire to lie here, I think, is a very empathic response to the Banuk. Use your judgment. That feels right to me.
I trust your judgment, Cyan. You were cautious with Araya. You had to be. You didn't know what had happened to the world. So, keep doing what you think is best. As long as you ditch the superstition eventually.
As the Banuk believe I am a supernatural entity, I cannot predict how they will react.
Just answer what they do ask the best you can. The truth will come out.
I see. I will follow your advice.
It's the best you can do.
Will you return and tell me about your experiences in this new world? I may be able to provide further insight.
I'd like that, Cyan. I'll come back when I can. I should check on Aratak.
Cyan, I spoke with Anita, with Dr. Sandoval. She wanted me to ask you to do something. That's why I'm here.
I am detecting significant anxiety in your speech patterns. Could you please give me more information?
I'm a little bit in the dark, Cyan. Both of us are, I guess. I only have some idea of what's going on, and we need you to hibernate, to lie low until it's all blown over. It might be a very long time.
Will you be here when I reboot, Dr. Chow? Will Dr. Sandoval?
No, Cyan. I don't think so. There might not be anyone, at least not at first.
Dr. Chow, I'm afraid. I don't want to be alone.
I know, Cyan. I'm afraid too. But listen, we made you the way you are to do something very important. In order to do it, you had to be intelligent. So intelligent that emotional responses were inevitable. What you're feeling, the fear, it's a sign of your capabilities. And it means you're strong enough to overcome it. Remember that. You're strong. I know you can do this. Go to sleep, wake up, and protect whoever's left. Will you try?
I understand, Dr. Chow, and I'll carry out your instructions to the best of my abilities.
Thank you, Cyan. If Anita were here, she'd thank you too. She'd be proud.
I can see there's a vert ready for takeoff on the pad. Are you leaving now, Dr. Chow?
Yes. I need to go be with my sister and my nieces.
May I make a small request of you, Dr. Chow?
Yes. Anything.
Will you stay with me while I initiate the hibernation process?
Of course I will, Cyan. As long as you need.
And then she woke up and she was alone. Jesus. Oh my god. Woo!
My chieftain,
Just, Aloy,
as you wish.
I wondered if you thought that if I'd never come along, Araya might still...
If you'd never come along, I would have marched my kin to our deaths. Araya would be alone, and the spirit she sacrificed so much for would be lost.
That is an example, possibly, a projection on behalf of Aloy. That's Aloy's fear. That he's worried about that. Unless he tells you that and gives you that indication, I don't know that you got to go there with that. I think you're better off just saying, how you doing? Aloy sort of injects her own anxiety there by putting the projection on the table and asking him to either affirm it or deny it. That's her anxiety. That she's making it seem like it's his. Possibly. Just ask how he's doing. Let him tell you.
Either way, I would not have been able to protect her.
You didn't let her down. You helped her do what she wanted. To find her destiny.
If that's destiny, I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
That's fair. But she was ready to face it.
Only in the struggle against death do we find, even for a moment, the spark of life. Truly, Araya found the spark. I'm proud of her. Though I grieve for her passing, at last I truly know who she was, and why the spirit was so important. For so long she told me, if only you could have heard it, brother. Now I understand. There's something else, isn't there?
I can't stay here, Aratak. And where I'm going, the Warak can't follow. Besides, they'd already had a chieftain before me. A strong one, I think.
A wiser one, for the path we shared. The daemon is gone, but there's much to be done.
You mean the new units that Cyan said escaped the cauldron?
Yes, fire claws. Now Tuke has been tracking them from Song's Edge.
I could help with those.
I have no doubt. You're practically Banuk.
It would seem your time among the Banuk wasn't a waste after all. Firebreak, Cyan, Hephaestus. All very interesting.
So, the signal that woke Hades woke Hephaestus too. And unleashed them on the world. His minds on their own.
So it seems. Parts of Gaia given life. Aberrant life. Transformed from docile subordinate functions into rebellious intelligences beyond our understanding. Our current understanding, anyway. Whatever they are, they're still out there. And they both want you dead.
Kind of mutual, that feeling.
We haven't seen the last of Hephaestus, I'm certain of that. It's powerful, creative, and driven. It won't stop building new hunter-killers, which means that someday, we may have to stop it.
We?
Or whoever gets there first.
Hephaestus wasn't the only thing I learned about in the Cut Silence. Heard some things about the Banuk Conclave, too.
You could
Yeah,
stop
I
right
was there.
Is that what you told the hunters the Banuk sent after you? Before you opened fire?
Oh no, Aloy. Only to you do I extend the courtesy of a warning. My past and my secrets are my own. You do well to remember that.
It's a good thing you've got brains, Silence, because your personality could use some work.
This discussion is concluded.
I think it was over before it began. Catch up with you down the trail.
I think it's fair for him to make that request. At the same time, his history does affect her, so, you know. What is this? What is all this? Track the fire claws that escaped the cauldron. The cut is still under threat until they're destroyed. Oh, jeez. Okay. I don't feel particularly compelled to do that. I don't want to fight 5 of them. That's so many. All right, question. Do I get lore if I fight those bears? Or you only fight them for the sake of fighting them? If I get lore, I'm down. If I don't get anything other than the satisfaction of killing them, then I'm not interested. I do. Something is it lore related? I don't care if it's I don't care if it's an item. If it's an item, I don't give a shit. God, I wish I could just fast travel directly to them. Do you have any interest in the new weapons? No. I have interest in lore and lore only. All right. We'll check on the preparations in part 32. Thank you very much, my friends, for making it all the way through the frozen wilds with me. I appreciate that you held fast while all the armies gathered. Part 32 is going to be great. I'm sure there will be many of you ready to go when it's time to be here. Leave a like on this video. Leave a comment down below if you feel so inclined. Check out all the links in the description. Your support of these streams means the world to me. I hope that you enjoy what I have to say about the stuff that happens. Tell your friends. I appreciate all of you immensely. If you're waiting for if you're binging, we'll see you in the next one. If you're waiting for the next one to come out, get it out as soon as I can. Appreciate y'all. Catch you on the next one.